riding down LaSalle Street one day, and I saw this big building with this N sign on it, and I was like, what is that? So I went home and I started Googling Dewdrop Inn New Orleans, and I found this amazing, amazing story, this amazing history. Greats from Little Richard to Ray Charles to Ike and Tina Turner to Alan Toussaint to, and of course, Mr. Panier himself and all that he's done to make the Dewdrop Inn what it is or what it was. So reading all that history, I fell in love immediately, and I was like, I have to give it a shot. I have to try and bring it back to life. I think it's such a great story to tell, and such a great way to integrate all the things that are going on in New Orleans, the culture, the history, music, entertainment, hotel rooms, food, all those things. So that's what drew me to the Dewdrop Inn and to do it. Once I got the property under contract, we negotiated with the Panier family to get a contract, come to an agreement to purchase it. Once I did that, I assembled a team of architects, Concordia. This is Joel and his crew are all here. They've been doing an amazing job researching the history and really putting that history to paper so that we can tell the story of the Dewdrop, so we could, go forward with this project. So, without further ado, we'll start our
So like Ryan said, I mean, we're incredibly lucky that Ryan found us, I think. We're Concordia, we're a small firm, there's 15 of us, 15 Concordians, and our office is about 2 blocks up this way. We recently worked with Joanne and Carol to renovate this space, and our experience in Central City goes back to the Central City Renaissance plan back in 2004. That was before my time. I joined Concordia in 2007. But some of our elder Concordians, Stephen Bigler and Ms. Bobby Hill, have been around, helping Carol since maybe the founding of Ashe a long, long time ago. So this just feels like the right fit, and Concordia is really interested in neighborhood participation right out of the gates. It's part of the Concordia way, so I feel like today is an important first step in this process.
So here's the current condition of what the Dewdrop Inn looks like. So obviously it's been through a tough time. It took on about 3 or 4 feet of water during Hurricane Katrina. They've done a lot of work on the inside to shore up the building to kind of stabilize it. So it will be a tough task to go in and get everything back up to modern day standards. But it's something that we're definitely committed to doing. We actually had a walkthrough with engineers yesterday that went really well. Everything can be done within our budget, so we're confident that this is a project we can still pursue. So again, some more interior shots and other shots of the current conditions.
So yeah, a lot of, the key is kind of uncovering the old fabric here, and you can see some of that glass block is there, and some of the kind of patina in the inside, still has a lot of elements from some of those black and white pictures that we were looking at before the meeting.
So, of course, the Dewdrop Inn is located on LaSalle Street. I guess it's generally across the street from the now Harmony Oaks development. Located in Central City, the historic district. Of course, it's home to Mardi Gras Indians, home to the Corps was founded in Central City, so a lot of history has been going on in Central City, and we really want to highlight that here at the Dewdrop.
And importantly, it falls within this, that red outline is both, it's the National Register District, so we fall within a tax credit eligibility that's going to help this project be financially viable. Some other projects that are similar to this, so like I said, tax credits are a big part of this, and we're working with both the state and the National Park Service now to ensure that it's kind of a negotiation between, maintaining the old and bringing in new, HVAC systems and such, but we we've done some research and found there are a few of these other type of projects where it's just an overlapping of a lot of different programming, like music, food, hotel, you know, that kind of thing. So this is the music hall. That's a theater and 2 storefront businesses in New Jersey. This one's really interesting because it's a music hall and a bowling alley together. So it's this is the Vermont version of Rock and Bowl, I think. And then of course the Dewdrop Inn, which is the same kind of stacking of programming. It evolved over time, I think, from what I understand. So, you know, it's kind of the customers and the neighborhood and the owner kind of pushed together to, you know, develop this programming that kind of went on, and then the building evolved with it. So I think this is just another iteration of the Dewdrop. It's the next kind of evolution. Here are a lot of pictures that we put together online. We think there's a lot more pictures out there. So there's a museum component of this museum lobby at the front that we think is a really critical component. And we don't think there's anything like this in New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans has this amazing musical history, but there's not really a museum like in other cities. I mean, Memphis has the Sax Museum, and Detroit has the Motown Museum, and, you know, we don't have anything like that. So this can maybe be kind of something where we can tell the story of what it was. So we definitely need input and history and personal history and stories. Ryan kind of went through the neighborhood stuff. This is just a modern day photo. That map was from 1976, I think. So here's the site. Is everyone familiar with Dewdrop Inn? Everyone knows its history more or less, and its location. So right now it's two lots that were put together, and there's a now vacant lot next door to the left, and this project won't have anything to do with the vacant lot itself. The city zoning is HUB1, which will allow for our hotel use, but as part of this project, we do need a conditional use for parking and live music, I believe. So this is our one of the first steps in this process. We have to meet with the city, and the city has put an overlay over LaSalle Street, a zoning overlay, basically for this project, to allow this project to come back. Because when they redid the zoning from 2013 to 2015, they kind of earmarked projects that were of significance, and this one they pulled aside and said, you know, we've got to make a special overlay for this project to move forward. So they did. So this is the current site plan, 65 by 150. We're not going to expand the site like we said. This is the proposed 3D diagram of what we're thinking here. So part of working with the tax credits is going to be maintaining really the front buildings as close to original as possible, especially from our 2 principal facades, which we can see along here and along LaSalle Street, of course. And then the buildings at the rear are in pretty poor shape, and those were built later on in the 1960s and 70s. So those will likely have to be heavily modified or removed entirely. And then we're thinking of building a couple of additional suites and a green room for the musicians at the rear. It's important to note that we're not going to be expanding the program number. We won't be putting more rooms in than were there. We're going to be pulling back or bringing back the supper club idea and the performance venue. And then there'll be some meeting rooms, or that can be kind of flexible space. Green room for musicians, like I said. New pool, which is becoming kind of a standard in 21st century hotel development. That would be open to the public as well. So the idea is, you know, it's for kind of locals and tourists alike. So at the front, we'll have this museum lobby / shop like we talked about, and we're going to have an activity about that later. Our meeting rooms here, supper club, performance venue, green room. Upstairs is going to be where all of the hotel programming is going to go. So before there were hotel rooms upstairs and down, we think it'll be a better experience if all the rooms are on the second floor. Those, of course, will be, sound won't be an issue. We're gonna add a bunch of acoustic insulation, so it'll be an experience up there. We're gonna have a lot of different kinds of rooms: king suites, bunk rooms, single rooms, multi-use rooms. So it's kind of, there's a affordability threshold at a lot of different levels. So if you're a king, you can stay in a king suite, but if you're a young traveling musician, you can stay in the bunk room. So it's got kind of something for everyone. And we think that kind of richness of program really helps, bring back and tell the story. Here is the existing floor plan. So as you can see, that kind of green color is the existing rooms. You can see on the first floor here. These rooms will go away to all be on the second floor here. We think having a green room is going to be really important for musicians because it kind of gives them their space to relax after or before the show. My colleague Graham Hill is a musician himself, so he thought that's really critical. So hopefully that way you can attract these big acts, big names back, but at a small venue. So. Here's a little section cut through the building, so you can see that the front facade is here, LaSalle Street's out here. Here we're going to be basically preserving what was there, and as you go back, it goes from historic to new in kind of a gradient, moving from front to back. That's kind of per tax credits and per what's in good shape of the existing building itself. And here's another slice through the building showing the guest rooms upstairs, the kind of people scale, the open media center, meeting rooms, restrooms towards the rear, and pool, and then our neighboring buildings behind there. So we'll have a little landscape buffer all around. This is a section through that cut looking towards LaSalle Street, so you can see the pool, the kind of outdoor courtyard area, some balconies above. This is a big palm tree. This would be that 2 or 3 bedroom suite that they like staying in now. So you can, come with a bunch of your friends and rent kind of one big space together. And let's see, so yeah, here you can see that rear elevation. So this is a similar view of that rendering we were just looking at. These are in pretty poor shape, and so those need a lot of work. Here, we're starting to work with a contractor to just take off kind of the first level of this plywood and OSB addition that was put there to see some more of that historic patina and save it, hopefully. So really the front is in great shape, the rear not so much. So we're working with what's there. Here again, through historic photos and digging around, we can kind of piece together a renovated front facade, bring those nice glass block windows back, open it up to the street again, and retell that story. And then of course you can see our shed roof at the rear that would be set back behind this line at the edge of the rear of the property, and then our pool.
Sure. So right now, of course, we're in our permit process phase. Like I said, this is our first step in our conditional use process. Once we finish with this meeting today, we'll take your comments and concerns into account and try and incorporate that into our project. And then we'll submit this into our conditional use permit plan to the city. We expect to have that back, their answer probably back in April or May. And then once we do that, we'll start construction.
Okay, so we like listening more than we like talking, so we like to break this up and have some fun. So we've got a couple of activities here where we can hear your stories. So activity 1, I really like this one. That's going to be at the rear, and I think let's just say on the left half of the room. You guys can start back there at that circle table. So it's our newspaper booth. So the idea is that you want to write a newspaper review of what you would like the newspapers to say about this place a year after it's open. So it's your best hopes and wishes, and we're gonna, try to get there as a whole group. And then the second activity, which is gonna be the right side of the room, which is on the right side back there, is we've just cut a little floor plan showing the lobby space, the lobby museum, shop. So what do you want that to look like? What do you want to go in there? How do you want people to move through the space? Do you have any elements, photos, newspaper articles, ephemera, whatever that you'd like to showcase in there? Let us know. So that'll be back on that right. And I think Teva from Concordia will be our host of that event. And Allie, Teva, you're going to be newspaper. So she's the newspaper person, and Allie will be doing the storytelling.
And then I will be helping you guys with the museum stuff.
Yes, and then we have a storytelling booth back on the right. So if you want to tell a story, we can record it, and then maybe it becomes part of the museum. Hopefully, it becomes part of the museum. We have we'll end with a video from a famous musician telling his story about the Dewdrop. So hopefully we can get some people filtering in, just if you feel inspired, do it. Okay, let's have some fun.